Hello, it is Sunday, October 2nd, 2022. I'm Chris Primo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Sunday puzzle today, which means we've got a large grid to fill, so I hope you've got the time for that. And this potentially time-consuming edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Victoria Rojishka, Kathleen Quinn, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Shoalmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in keeping this series going. I do very much appreciate it, so thank you so much to them. And if you'd like to become a benefactor and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve, where you can also become a patron at any level and get all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And do also consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube and telling a friend if you like these videos. And thank you to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign at any level. I need to make sure to say that because I am very appreciative. So thank you if you're one of those people or have been. And you can join the Daily Solve Discord chat server in a link in the description field underneath the video. That's a nice friendly community as well. And what else? What else is there to say? I don't know. Let's just solve the puzzle. How about that? So, like I said, this is a Sunday puzzle, and it's entitled Le Puzzle. And I actually just looked, I saw that this was the title of the puzzle right before I began the video, and I looked up. I was curious if puzzle was one of those words that is sort of an anglicized term in French, and I think it is. So you just have Le Puzzle, is just a French word. But crossword puzzle is not. That I did know. So crossword puzzle in French is mot croisé, which just means literally crossed words. So mot croisé is crossword in French, but puzzle apparently is le puzzle. So yeah, we'll see. I have no idea what that means in terms of solving the puzzle. It could mean something French, or it could just mean, there are letters L-E that have some significance. That would honestly be my guess, because it would be the more cryptic sort of indication here. Anyway, this puzzle was constructed by Kathy Bloomer, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. This is Kathy Bloomer's second puzzle for the New York Times. So let's start solving. A complete jerk. Complete jerk. Not sure offhand. What about fidgety? Antsy, maybe? There are probably other possibilities for that, so let's check the crosses. Let's try these small words. Gridiron gain. So gridiron refers to, American football, so gains are measured in yards. So that looks correct. And equinox month. September? I never remember these. The equinox and the other ones. Spawned. Spawned. I don't know, birthed or something. Says John Paul and Ringo? Interesting. That looks like, this looks like a theme answer, maybe, and a pun because of the question mark. Is it significant that George is being let out? I'm very curious about this one, actually. What about this? Opposed to in dialect. Again, against? I think that might be a sort of dialectical way to say opposed to. What about this? Like venison is gamey meat. Deer meat is because deer is game, so the meat has that kind of gamey. Actually, I really like that kind of gamey flavor of meat, but anyway, I would have assumed it was G-A-M-E-Y, but this looks perfectly plausible as well. What about this? Worldly. Erudite or urbane, maybe? Urbane might be the answer to worldly. And Curt summons could be see me. I like this because it looks like court summons. It's just a nice punny little clue there, but no, and they don't need the pun indication because it is this. A see me is literally a curt summons, just a curt way to summon somebody. So that's fair enough. And then exploiting is using. Kind of map is a what? A realty map? I don't really think that's anything. Faulkner's As I Lay Dying. There we go. And a baby louse. Is that a knit? Oh, interesting. Is that the derivation of picking knits? Because I guess you could sort of pick louses out. So that seems plausible. Oh, skips a beetle. Here we go. Says John Paul and Ringo. Skips a beetle. There we go. Would have been great if I could have somehow jumped straight to that, but I needed needed some crosses. It's fair enough. So they didn't mention George in particular, but that this makes perfect sense. Okay, complete jerk. Could be an ass of some sort. Spawned. Does that work with this? Still not seeing it. Inventor Tesla, Nikola Tesla. And when will the leaky faucet get fixed? E.g. question mark. Now this looks like it could be a theme answer as well, especially because it's in the it's in the spaces where theme answers often are. They're often in these long across answers, so you could imagine one being here, and actually there aren't very many of those long acrosses in this puzzle, surprisingly. So maybe it is the nouns. I don't know. Oh, L-E. Skips a beetle. L-E. Le puzzle. Interesting. Could this end with L-E? No. Well, not in this case anyway. From A to Z, and currency that features the tail of Genji on one of its banknotes. Surely the yen. I mean, that really sounds like a Japanese name. That must be a noteworthy Japanese folktale or something. Okay, champion, experience, equanimity. To experience equanimity. How do you experience? What's an example of how you experience equanimity? Oh, I can't see it. Anyway, let's come back over here. So spawned. Oh, sired. Right. So, okay, so in this case, sort of fathered, spawned. Okay, post blank occurring after the event, post hoc. And then basic is alkaline. So basic in the sense of, chemically a substance as opposed to acidic, not basic in the sense of elementary or simplistic, that sort of thing. And then a brewski is a tall one, a beer. So what, do I have any more about this? When will the leaky faucet get fixed? Oh, trickle question? Oh, because trick question, right. Oh, right, of course. Skips a beetle. I think I sort of observed that when I first solved the clue, but then I didn't go back to it when I was trying to remember the LE. So we're adding an LE. This is literally an LE puzzle. It is a le puzzle. Obviously in French, le would mean the, but that's not what it means here. So trick question or trickle question. When will the leaky faucet get fixed? There we go. Okay, so that's what the theme is doing. So we are adding LE to well-known phrases, and then that is going to construct the punny thematic answer to these clues. Great. Help page initialism, FAQ, frequently asked questions. URL ender could be edu for an educational institution, so a website address. And times outside office hours. In personals. In personals. What does that mean? Personals. Personals sometimes means personal ads. But office hours is sort of an academic concept. What does that mean? What about this? Oh, experience equanimity. Feel okay? Is it as simple as that? Is that equanimity? Just feel okay? Virginia Senator Tim, so this is obviously a U.S. political clue, Tim Kaine. And times outside office hours in personals. What is that? Eves? Evenings? Oh, maybe this just means office hours as in business hours, not office hours as in the academic concept of professors having open office hours, but rather just times when offices are in operation. And so this is referring to evenings, and maybe impersonal ads indicates the words need to be shortened or abbreviated because of limited space in the ad. Is that what this is? So it's eves, evenings. And then a champion of something could be an advocate of it, somebody who, I mean, you could also say who champions it, who advocates it. Okay, if someone goes berserk, someone loses it. And about 6.5 inches on a standard piano, an octave. I didn't know that. I guess it's one of those things where it's sort of odd to say I didn't know it, because it's not as though I don't know about how big an octave is on a piano. I just wouldn't happen to arbitrarily have known precisely its measurement in inches. Yeah, I've thought about that before, that this is a case where it is sort of strange to say, there isn't a great way to say I didn't know that, because it's such an arbitrary fact. It's not necessarily knowledge one would just have. But that's not even the point. It's more that I do kind of already know basically what an octave length feels like on a piano. I just couldn't have told you that. So how do you say that casually? I don't know. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. Actor Aston is Sean Astin. And lithe is svelte. As in a person. Okay, so bygone theater chain. Oh, Lowe's? Is that bygone? I didn't even know that. I wonder if they went out of business sort of during the pandemic era. And then Summer Abroad and PC Key. So here we have PC Key is Alt. And Summer Abroad, été in French for summer. And then M blank U blank H. Mouth or something? Although I can't tell if this is meant to be 2 missing letters or 1 with spaces. It looks more like each of these is a single letter because there are spaces between the M and the underscores. And so if these were 2 letters, you would expect them to also have spaces in between. So I think that's just mouth. Wide open mouth or something? I don't know. Song from back in the day, an oldie. And salon specialties. I was going to say die, but that's not plural, as specialties is. What about this? It's a slippery slope. A slide, literally a slippery slope, down which you slide. Hoot could be a riot. That's a total hoot. That's a total riot, you could say. Oh, salon specialties are do's, as in hairdos. Right, okay, there we go. That's straightforward enough. After all, remarks further. If you remark further, you add something. And an asset when playing cornhole is your aim, I guess. That's that game where you toss a bag. A bean bag, probably. Okay, setting for a classic Agatha Christie novel. The Nile, Death on the Nile. And the highest-selling author of all time after the Bible and Shakespeare, if you consider the Bible to be an author, I suppose. It's sort of, but you know what I mean. Okay, lightly bite as a pup might. Pup might nip at your heels, maybe. And the brother in 24, cross for one. Blank speaks Marx Brother autobiography. Okay, well, this will just be the name of a Marx Brother shortly. So, Harpo, maybe? What are some other Marx Brothers names? Chico? I don't remember. Let's see if this works. Yellow Jackets error for short. Oh, I'm not sure. I know this is a program that was airing recently or maybe still currently, but I'm not sure who's airing it. So maybe I won't put that in. I was hoping I could just quickly confirm it. Show up naked, perhaps. Gonna need more crosses for that. Emma Watson's role in the Harry Potter films. Oh boy. Emma Watson. I didn't even know Emma Watson was in these. Or no, maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of Emily Watson? Who am I thinking of? I don't know. Word with ghost or pirate. Ghost ship or pirate ship. And not marked permanently, say, in pencil. You can do that in the crossword, actually, if you didn't know. So you can turn on the pencil tool and then type things in pencil if you're sort of unsure about them. So maybe I should have done that with Harpo. Although, actually, now that I have this P, Harpo is looking much more likely. So maybe I'll just put it in pen after all. I never really used the pencil tool in crosswords. I do use it sometimes in acrostics, which I solve on the Patreon channel, because I'm much less confident in solving those. So lounge chair location. Lounge chair location. A porch or something? A lounge chair. I mean, it would be in a, you'd think it'd be in a salon or living room. What would fit here? Spam containers. You could have tins of spam. Or cans, actually. Oh, right. What about this? Focal points. Loci. And Oklahoma City named for a character in a Tennyson poem. Enid? I bet that's Enid. So what was this lounge chair location? Oh, poolside. Right. Okay. Yep. Wish I had gotten that more quickly. So then what was this? Oh, right. The Harry Potter is. Oh, Hermione. I've heard of that character. It's one of the children. Okay. So that's Emma Watson then. And, okay. So I was definitely thinking of the wrong person. And then old-fashioned trial transcriber, a stenographer. And show up naked, perhaps. Oh, here's our LE. So spam generator, sorry. So, oh, that's funny. We have tins or can, oh, it is tins because we have the I. That's a nice little parallel clue there. So spam containers and spam generator. So spam was manufactured by the Hormel Corporation, or still is, I guess. I don't know. Hormel's probably owned by somebody else at this point, I would guess. Okay, so show up naked, perhaps. Startle, or start. Yeah, I actually don't know which word the LE belongs to, because startle is a word, but also we could have start something. I'm guessing it's start something, because show up sort of sounds like start. But start. Oh, no, never mind. Not what I was thinking. Plant, I had a completely incorrect thought about start meaning to sort of be startled, but then I thought, oh, start, startled, but these are both in the clue. Sorry, both in the answer. Neither is in the clue, so it's irrelevant. I'm babbling. Plant fiber used to make some jewelry, hemp. So plant fiber used to make some jewelry and other things. A layoff crudely. I assume this means a firing. Crudely. Oh, the axe. Right. And layoff could be referred to as the axe. You got the axe, you were fired. A German physicist with an eponymous law, Ohm's law. There we go. And loss of the winning ticket. Lottery something? Lottery. Not sure. Let's see if that actually works. Could be lotto as well, actually, I suppose. Part of a how-to manual is a step. You follow a step in a how-to. It may be unlimited in a phone plan. Unlimited data. You could have unmetered, unlimited data allowance. Leo with the 1977 #1 hit, You Make Me Feel Like Dancing. Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. New beginnings are, don't know. Opt for deluxe, say. Splurge or go big. I don't know. What about this? One named singer whose last name is Atkins. Oh, okay. Well, didn't know the Atkins bit, but surely this is Adele, one named singer. And then show up naked, perhaps. Startle? Show up? I don't think it's startle. It must be start. Oh, why can't I see it? That's so infuriating. It may be vegetal or fruity. An aroma? Yeah, I mean, it's plausible ways to describe an aroma. Potentially offensive, say. Non-PC maybe, or not PC. Could be either one of those. Start. Oh, I just don't know. King and queen. Pieces? Chess pieces? Of... No, that's too long. Then we don't have enough to fit the LE into an extra word, do we? I don't think so. Exhibiting the effects of too little sleep, say. 2015 inductee into the World Hall Golf of Fame. Well, I have to say, this isn't something I would know without the crossword, but I've encountered it quite a few times. I think Mark O'Meara is a golfer, and so that M position there really made me think that is probably the answer. Okay, and that rules out pieces from this if that's correct, which is good, just to get it out of my system. So exhibiting the effects of too little sleep, say. If you're exhibiting the effects of too little sleep, I think I'd be familiar with this concept. Crabby, maybe. Okay, there we go. All right. And most popular dog breed in the U.S. familiarly is a what? Bottomless void is an abyss. Oh, a Labrador. Okay, I didn't know that. A bunch of. Oh, maybe this isn't crabby. Maybe it's cranky. I mean, actually, yeah, cranky is. I mean, I think they're both they're pretty similar concepts, but cranky is often especially used in reference to people waking up in the morning. So a bunch of is many. And then, oh, this looks like king and queen. Palace somethingals? Palace couples? Palace couple. Yes. Palace coup transforms into palace couple, the king and queen. There we go. I wanted to say power couple, which is also kind of a punny way you could refer to a king and queen because obviously they hold power. So let's keep that in mind. Writers not likely to win literary prizes are hacks. And salon job informally is a manicure. Boos are honeys, right? I was trying to think of boos meaning jeers, that sort of thing. Heckles, but no, in this case it means it's a sort of a pet name for a partner. Honey boo. Okay, so caballero is what? And former Attorney General Holder Eric Holder is another U.S. political clue there, and then nag is, well, that could sort of be heckle, but it's not long enough. Nag is. Not sure. What about this? Green lights. If you green light something, you okay it. So green lights, okay. And Superman's birth name. Oh, it's I'm going to know this one. I guarantee I'll know this when I get a single cross. I promise. Country bordering Oman for short is United Arab. Kal-El. There we go. There we go. That was really annoying. So, yes, the United Arab Emirates bordering Oman, Kal-El is Superman's birth name, and because he's an alien. And a pomegranate can contain a few hundred of these seeds. That makes sense. Yeah, a few hundred sounds about right. And then rang is called. You rang somebody up, you called them on the phone. And pint contents could be ale. So that's sort of just the tiniest bit misleading because contents is pluralized, but of course, ale, you have a pint of ale, so the pint contains the ale, the contents of it. Okay, protests in a way. Interesting. What about this? Caballero, horseman. There we go. Okay, I think that's probably right. And then protests in a way kneels, right? Okay, yes. So sort of taking the knee, that sense. And then nag is henpeck, right? There we go. You nag somebody, you henpeck them. It could be described as henpecked. And then to imitate somebody is to ape them. Contented sigh could be maybe. And here's the the constant struggle in solving New York Times crosswords is it AHH or AAH? But fortunately, we already had the A from imitate. Begins giving solid food. Oh my goodness. Begins giving solid food, says, weans a child. So there we go. Weans, off of just liquid food. or puree or what have you. Loss of the winning ticket. All right, this will probably be an L. I'll come back to that. I shouldn't put that. Maybe I'll put it in pencil since I mentioned the pencil tool. How about that? There's probably a keyboard shortcut for pencil, but I don't know what it is. Raw power is sinew, maybe. You could describe somebody as being, oh, they're all muscle and sinew. Without Latin. It's probably related to the French sang, but I'm not sure offhand. Certain federal security. T-note, treasury note. Does that help with this? Opt for deluxe say. Oh, something extra. What was this one? Show up naked, perhaps. Show up naked, perhaps. Start. I don't know. Wow, my goodness, that is so frustrating. This looks like it. Well, no, there are only two possibilities for this one. Oh, I don't see it. Startle Dane? What on earth? And if this is a T? Show up naked, perhaps. Startle date. So that's like start date. Why is that the answer? Startle date. Did I have something else wrong in here? I guess, so the perhaps means, it doesn't literally mean show up naked. It's like, well, this is what might happen if you do this. So I guess you startle your date, you show up naked to your date, to the date, and then we're using date in two different ways here, but then you startle the date, the person you're meeting, because you're naked. I think that must be the answer. It's a bit awkwardly phrased compared to some of these others. Palace couple, trickle question, skip a beetle. This one just reads a bit less cleanly. Startle date. You'd expect it to be startle a date or something, but then obviously that wouldn't work with the pun of start date, start a date. Yeah. Okay, I think this is correct. I think I understand it. I'm going to move on. Leo with the 19th. Okay, yeah, didn't know that one. I'm going to move on as well. New beginnings are dawns, maybe? It's a new dawn. I guess that's sort of redundant to new beginnings, but I think this is, a dawn can be described as a new beginning. And a harvester of the future. Harvester of the future. Not sure. Oh, the brother in Harpo for what? Oh, no. It's the brother in Harpo Speaks, Mark's brother autobiography, I suppose, is probably what that means. So, I don't know. Not sure. Don't know enough about the Marx Brothers to be able to just write that in. Sadly, easy pill to swallow is... Easy pill to swallow. Is this another a gulp or something? Gulp? No, I don't think so. I just tried to put le inside of gulp in case that was weirdly what was going on, but I don't think that. I think that is kind of map, a relief map. You can have a relief map, so showing heights, with the actual physical relief. I guess you could have both kinds, with or without the physical relief. Is that true? Okay. A gel cap is an easy pill to swallow, right? Okay, so that's sort of, kind of semi-hard gel pills. Alternatives to shakes are malts, maybe. So shakes meaning milkshakes in this case, and then a malted alternative to that, a malt. Bloke is a fella, and bloke and fella are both sort of colloquial terms, so that's why we can get that sort of, contracted fella rather than say fellow, for instance, because bloke is already in that tone. Okay, the brother in 24 Across, a mime? Harpo Speaks. I mean, this is referring to the Marx Brothers kind of not speaking or something, or one of them not speaking. Just don't know. So a wordle. Oh, is this a wordle? Is this referencing the wordle? It's 5. Right, I think it maybe is. Oh, interesting. So the Wordle, I do. If you're not familiar with the Wordle, it's another puzzle that is now run by the New York Times. They acquired it from the improbably named Josh Wardle, who created it, and you determine a 5-letter word based on clues about the individual letters in the word, and so this sort of looks like an unfinished Wordle answer because it has 5 letters with 2 spaces in it, but I don't quite see what it is. Let's just keep going. Candy bar whose name is an exclamation. Oh, right, there's O. Henry. I don't think I've ever eaten an O. Henry bar, but I know that they exist. And I guess it's named after the sort of American short story writer O. Henry. I've never really quite understood what's going on with that. I don't know. Maybe that's a weird coincidence. I'm not really sure. Okay, what else can we do? Sappho and Mirabai. Well, Sappho is an odist, as we observed yesterday in the puzzle. What do we have here? Oh, Sears, though, maybe? Opt for deluxe, say, to... I don't know, maybe that's wrong. Okay, what else can we do? Covers as the bill. Comps? If if it's on the house that's comped, not sure if that's right. Does that help here? Wordle. Yeah, I don't know. Have we looked at this yet? No. Stays optimistic. Hopes. You live in hope. You stay optimistic. Drinks that are slammed. What does that mean? Drinks that are slammed. You slam. I'm not sure I understand what that. Oh, shots. I see. So you sort of, you slam a shot and then I guess also sort of slam it onto the bar in a way. I don't know which of those is the slamming bit, but it's terminology that is associated with shots, so that makes sense. Okay, harvester of the future. What does that mean? Sower? Why is it of the future? And why is it? Harvester of the future. What does that mean? Well, Sappho and Mirabai could just... Sorry, I said odists because I thought that was kind of funny, but obviously poets is just a more general term that means the same... Well, doesn't mean the same thing, but it includes odists because obviously an ode is just one form of poetry. So Sappho and Mirabai are poets, and then opt for... pay extra. You pay extra. You opt for the deluxe option. And then Leo Sayer, and then Harvester of the Future is a sower? Oh, I see. Oh, that's clever. Right, because you reap and you reap what you sow. So you sow now, you're sowing the seeds, and then in the future you become that same person who did the sowing. In the future, they are a harvester. Now, currently they are a sower. In the future, they're a harvester. That's clever. Okay, so this looks like Wordle of the Day to me. Does that work? No, it doesn't. I was thinking word of the day. Oh, although this does look like foots the bill. Yeah, covers the bill, foots the bill. So that bit is probably right. So what is this? How is that not what that was? Gives a whirl, attempts. So Wordle of mouth. Oh, right. Okay, I did. Okay, that's silly. I inferred this was mouth, and then I didn't incorporate it into the answer, or I didn't think about what it might mean. So word of mouth transforms into Wordle of mouth. That's very clever and sort of topical, especially for the times. Okay, adversaries are foes, enemies. And note in the C minor scale is E flat. So E flat is the third note in the C minor scale, as it happens. And in fact, it's the one that sort of is the most important bit in making it C minor rather than C major. Okay, Labna go with. So pita. Labna is a sort of, it's kind of like, I don't know, sort of yogurty cheese almost, I guess. I'm sure that's a terrible way to describe that. So I apologize. Lost of the winning ticket. Oh, what is this L doing here? Is that intentional? It's correct somehow. What are the chances of that? How did that end up there? There's this pencil marked L that is just in the grid, but it actually is correct because this answer is easel. That was strange. I think that was just a complete coincidence. Loss of the winning ticket is a lottery. Why don't I see it? Boy, some of these I can get, and some of them I just do not see at all. Quill go with is ink and quill. And, oh, it's because, did I put it there? I think I put it there because of the LE. I suspected it would be the end of the clue because of the LE bit. Okay, never mind. It wasn't a total coincidence, but it did end up being right. Okay, without, Sina in Latin. There we go. So lottery pickle? Right, there it is. A lottery pick. You could pick your numbers maybe for that sort of lottery, and then you'd be in a pickle. You'd be in a lottery pickle if you lost your winning ticket. That would be sad. Okay, a bit of spice, figuratively, is a kick. You could say add a kick to that dish or something. Bout enders for short could be KOs, knockouts in boxing, for instance. And possible cause for road rage. I inserted car in there because of the road bit. A honk, maybe. You get angry because someone has honked at you, I guess. And then hosts, this could be a verb or a noun, but if it's a verb, it could be has over. He hosts you, he has you over. And then dress for graduation, in robe. So this would be dress as a verb. So you could say, I will dress you for graduation, I will enrobe you. That would be an extremely strange sequence of sentence to say to somebody, but you could, and it would be technically accurate. Or at least it would be accurate if you were in this situation. Otherwise, it would just be weird, which it already sort of is. Home to the University of Georgia is Athens. I do know there's an Athens in Georgia, so that looks correct. An asset is a plus, a positive asset. Positive on the balance sheet, for instance. And bog contents, peat bog. Peat is in bogs, can be. And word before crow or dirt, you could eat crow or eat dirt, which have sort of similar meanings, really. Or they can, anyway. And then razzle dazzle could be a cloth. Boy, that's suddenly coming up quite a bit in the crossword, isn't it? Or maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions because it's been in the crossword a few times recently. Let's look. Whip is a crop, as in a riding crop, a riding whip. Would you call that a whip, though? It's not really a whip in the sense I would think. So let's see, this might be wrong. Name of either brother in a classic Nickelodeon sitcom. Right. It is a crop because Pete and Pete was a Nickelodeon sitcom in which, each brother was named Pete in this family, each of two brothers. Okay, where do you find sap for syrup? That was a fascinating show, by the way. It's extremely sort of surreal. It's really interesting. I haven't seen it since, probably since it was either on air or soon after, but I would be fascinated to watch that now because it was just a very odd artifact. Really interesting. Anyway, where do you find sap for syrup? Something the maple, all over the maple, all over the map. There you go. All over the map and all over the maple. So there we have our LE bit. And computing pioneer Lovelace, Ada Lovelace. Some consider her the first computer programmer, which I'm not saying because I don't. I just mean I've seen that often said. Teeny is little contracted. And then condition treated with insulin is diabetes. And the other U is an alter ego. So rule informally is a regulation, and a menu eponym is so, as in general says chicken. All right. Floating is aloft, maybe. Oh, no, it's not. Afloat. Very similar word. In fact, the letters in aloft are contained within a float, but it has an extra A. Well, now I want the F back because in a restaurant, you can have a corkage fee if you bring your own bottle of wine, but the restaurant still charges you a fee to open it, essentially. So floating is versatile neutral shade, mauve or something, or taupe is another one of those. Mauve isn't a neutral shade, right? Mauve is more like purple or something. So probably taupe. Sam the Blank, Patriotic Eagle. Sorry, Eagle because that's the answer. Patriotic Muppet is Sam the Eagle. I do that sometimes when I'm reading these. Oh, maybe it's not taupe. Those A's don't look very likely. Oh, no, they are. Like some high-quality bonds, they could be rated AAA. Yeah, the bond markets use these sort of... Is it Standard & Poor's who rates the bonds, I think, maybe? Anyway, bonds, financial instruments are rated in that way. And floating, adrift maybe. You're floating on the air currents. You're adrift. Okay, that seems reasonable enough. The 3 R's. This is one of our theme clues, surely. So the 3 R's. Something class triple. There we go. So a class trip, as in when you go somewhere with your class in school, is a class trip, and then class triple because you learn the 3 R's, which I think are reading, writing, and strangely arithmetic. So it's a class triple because you learn those in class. Okay, common stain on a baseball uniform. A grass stain would be a perfectly plausible stain on a baseball uniform. And floppy features of basset hounds, they have big floppy ears. Editorial override could be stet. So this is overriding a previous editorial indication to delete something. And then the editor said, oh, you know what, don't delete it after all. Keep it in there, stet. Salty droplet, so a tear is a salty droplet. And develops as an idea is gestates. An idea gestates, takes form, grows. And then they might tie the room together. Area rugs, famously, as famously deployed in the film, the Coen Brothers film, The Big Lebowski, in which a particular rug is notably frequently said to tie the room together. Okay, so there we have it. Let's look at our theme answers. We have our trick question, which becomes a trickle question to answer when will the leaky faucet get fixed. Our start, when you startle a date, you show up naked perhaps and startle your date, coming from start date. That's the one slightly awkwardly reading one of these, I think, in the puzzle. Now, where were all of the rest of them? Were they mainly downs? Suppose they were. We say John, Paul, and Ringo, in which we skip a Beatle, skips a Beatle. Haven't mentioned George, so skips a beat is what that was. The palace couple, rather than a palace coup, is our king and our queen. The class trip, rather than class triple, comprises the 3 R's. What else? All over the maple, rather than all over the map. All over the maple is where we'd find sap for syrup. Now, have we missed any of these? Whoops, I might scroll through the clues just to see. Yes, we did miss... Oh, no, we didn't. That's funny. Easy pill to swallow has LE in it, and it's a question mark pun clue, but it is not one of these because the LE is in the wrong order, and also jacap isn't a phrase, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Okay, I don't think we missed any. So, yeah, that must have been all of them. All right. Oh, wait. No, the lottery pickle. Our lottery pick has become a lottery pickle because we've lost the winning ticket. And then, yes, the goofiest one in the puzzle, arguably, our wordle of mouth from our word of mouth. And actually, it's especially fitting because Wordle itself really did spread through word of mouth before the New York Times acquisition. It really was, it was just something that one guy made. This guy, Josh Wordle, made it for his partner, and it really took off. It was sort of an amazing thing. And anyway, there we have it, our word of mouth from Wordle of mouth, or vice versa. And that is the puzzle. I think otherwise it was a reasonable Sunday solve. I did get stuck in a couple places on occasion. Right, it was the main one was this startle date, I think, just because it reads slightly strangely. Other than that, I think it was a reasonably smooth solving Sunday puzzle. Of course, it still took 40 minutes, didn't it? Because that's just how Sundays are. Can't really get around that. But let me know how you fared with this one. And now, let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle, which I did remember to mark today. So, what do we have? Nicole Hicks explains, I was wondering about this. VMI is Virginia Military Institute, and the nickname Keydets is a play on cadets. So there we go. That was the school in the puzzle yesterday, and that crossed with Ocean Vuong, which I remember thinking, boy, that is a tricky cross, and it was apparently. I saw people in, for instance, the Daily Solve Discord chat server talk about how that was a particularly difficult cross, and I can understand why. Stephen Giblin explains that a pitch out, which was clued in yesterday's puzzle, is when the pitcher intentionally throws the ball wide of the plate in order to make it easier for the catcher to throw the ball, typically to second base, to make it easier to tag out a base runner. Oh, that's interesting. Right. So you accept the out. No, you accept the what? The ball? Pitcher intentionally throws the ball wide of the plate in order to make it easy. I don't know enough about baseball strategy to understand sort of why and when you would do this, but that's interesting. It seems like a bit of strategy to me. Okay, Christian Alexander explains, just so you're aware, Yelena is actually the sister of the main Black Widow character everyone knows, whose name is Natasha Romanoff. Okay, well, there we go. I didn't realize that. I think the way it was clued yesterday made it seem like the character being referenced was Black Widow. That's interesting. In the 2021 movie, it's revealed there's a whole league of trained and abused assassins known as Black Widows. Okay, so there are quite a few of them. And Yelena is Natasha's sister, who is essentially abducted and raised in that league with her. And then Monkeyflower explains that they were posing as sisters as children in a sleeper cell with Red Guardian acting as the father. I guess that's another sort of superhero character. They did come to regard each other as sisters, but they aren't actually related. In the comics, Belova and Romanov were not in the Red Room at the same time. I don't know what that bit is. Belova regarded Romanov as her idol, though, and looked up to her. Okay, so this is getting a bit detailed, but thank you for that explanation to both Christian Alexander and Monkeyflower. Thank you. Okay, Shalaz explains that official birth dates for thoroughbreds are used to standardize ages for competitions. And this is that bit about all thoroughbreds officially sharing a birthday of January 1st. For instance, 3-year-old thoroughbreds race each other for the Kentucky Derby. Horses becoming eligible or ineligible to race partway through a season is only fun for lawyers. Oh, I see, right. Okay, that makes sense. So you just standardize them all around the calendar. That makes total sense. As mares typically give birth in the spring, 1st of January in the Northern Hemisphere and 1st of August in the Southern Hemisphere are used as the official birth dates. Interesting. And finally, Remy explains in the French town that was mentioned in yesterday's puzzle, it is pronounced Aix-les-Bains, not, I think I probably said A-I-X, I probably said A or something like that, but it's Aix-les-Bains. So thank you very much, Remy, for that pronunciation note. And that's that for today's puzzle. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Monday crossword, of course, which will be a much quicker solve, surely. It better be. Anyway, I shouldn't spend 39 minutes on a Monday puzzle, and I don't expect to. And I hope you join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.